just to show you live, basically just putting together a warm-up and what that would look like and where the thought process comes from. So again, they're always going to walk in and start foam rolling. So I'm not really going to put that on the sheet, but I will put breathing on the sheet just so they know to get started with the breathing. So we'll just put supine breathing times 5. And then since they're already in their back, their glutes are already turned off, might as well throw some glute bridges in there. Glute bridges. Could probably help if I knew how to type. Times 10. Now you can make glute bridges a little bit more advanced. You can do like glute bridge marches. You can do single leg glute bridges. You can elevate their feet. These are all good examples for someone who's a little bit more advanced, a little bit stronger. You can, and then I mean, like it's the most regressed exercise ever. So this is really good for just about anybody. And then from here, we can do a low-level core exercise. I like doing that just to directly turn on the core a little bit. So dead bugs are always a really good example. Dead bug times 5 each. And then from here, we want to start attacking the weak areas that we talked about in the joint-by-joint approach. So you want to mobilize the mobilizers, the ankles, the hips, the thoracic spine, and get all those little muscles on the body turned on that are typically not really firing that well. So again, the glutes, the core, the upper back. So from dead bugs, we'll do some sort of T-spine rotation because again, we're on the floor. So we can just say quadruped, T-spine rotations, and every single client's gonna be like, what's quadruped? Just FYI. So times, 5 each. And then we can do some adductor mobilization, so we can call them quadruped, adductor mobs times 5 each. And just to show you guys, you can always take this directly from that Precision Nutrition sheet as well. So they have adductor mobilizations here. They have 90-90 wall balloon breathing. It's right here. I think it simply just makes more sense just to do supine breathing because it's just easier. It's a lot less hassle. Clients doesn't have to move around a lot. So I would just stick with supine breathing and fetal position breathing or crocodile breathing. Those are all really good. They're all going to work really well. And then I'm basically drawing just from my personal knowledge, but you can always refer back to this and see what areas each one of these targets. So like thoracic mobilization, what do you think it targets? Thoracic spine, right? Scapular push-ups, what do you think it targets? Scaps, shoulders. So you can always fall back to this and use that as a reference sheet to start putting together this stuff. You don't have to just come up with it off the top of your head. I'm just kind of just putting this together on paper just to show you what that looks like, what the thought process is here. So from here, I've got 5 of these basically just low-level exercises, getting things turned on. And that's generally about the max I'll do for the lower level joint mobilization, turn on the sleepy muscle type exercises. From here, I'll start doing a little bit more active stuff. Stuff is a little bit more difficult. So things like a band pull apart. Not really that difficult, right? But again, we're starting to do some work here just to kind of give you an idea. And then also we'll start doing some more of the dynamic stuff like walking Spider-Mans with reach times 5. And then maybe we'll do a backwards walking single leg deadlift times 5 each. And then maybe just a bear crawl for about 5 to 10 yards. And that's generally about the extent of what the warm-up will be, because again, this is literally just a warm-up to get ready for a workout. So this shouldn't be a really long time. Like 5 to 10 minutes really is all you need. I think the sweet spot for the general client is about 8 minutes. I mean, you can go a little bit longer than that, like 10 to 12 minutes. That's fine. And you go a little bit shorter than 8 minutes. That's fine too, because again, we're just prepping them to work out. This really doesn't do anything. It's not solving anything. It's not curing anything. It's just helping people get feeling a little bit better, getting them warmed up. Now, what I will do sometimes for some clients, just depending on their ability levels, I may add in some more athletic kind of options here at the bottom. So I may add some cariokas times, like 10 yards times 3. And then some A skips times 10 yards times 3. something like that, just to kind of get them going. And this is really just for people who are a little bit younger, people who know how to work out, people where like they can get through all of this very quickly, versus if you got someone brand new, they haven't really worked out in the past before, it's going to take them a pretty long time just to get through just even these first couple of exercises. So use your judgment. If someone's starting to like lag behind time wise, it's okay to kind of skip this stuff, because again, this is literally just preparing them for the workout. And if they've taken them a while to get through this, they're not really going to overwhelm themselves when you get to the actual workout. So not a huge deal there. Another thing to note too is I'll typically keep warm-ups for clients for 2, 3, maybe even 4 months, maybe sometimes longer, but typically 2 to 3 months is where I'll keep the warm-ups, because this allows people to just kind of like get through it pretty quickly, because now they know it really well and they've got it down really well, and now they're really perfecting those motions. And then after that, we can start stepping up the difficulty. Like I said, supine breathing, you can keep it supine breathing, you can flip it over to fetal position breathing. Glute bridges, you can start experimenting with single leg glute bridges or glute bridge marches. Dead bugs, you can add maybe light weights to those, or increase the difficulty by having them maybe straighten their legs, or maybe if they weren't using their arms before, have them add in their arms. T-spine rotations, you can come up to a half kneeling position, you can come up to a V stance position. Same thing with adductor mobilizations, you can turn those into lateral squats at this point. So you can always make the warm-up a little bit more difficult. Don't worry about keeping it the same for people, because I think most people appreciate keeping the warm-up the same, because then they don't really have to devote that much mental energy to memorizing a bunch of different exercises and then having a new workout and then having another new workout the next month. So don't worry about that stuff too much. Again, just start using basic movements for people, have them do them really perfectly, have them execute them really well, and then get into the workout. Something to note too, this is a full body warm-up because we're doing upper and lower areas of the body. You can totally do just a lower body warm-up and an upper body warm-up if that's how you're training your clients. That's typically what I do. I train my clients in upper lower splits, so their warm-ups are typically going to be upper lower. You don't have to. You can still give someone a full body warm-up if they're doing an upper lower split. I just prefer to do a lower body upper body warm-up because it's a little bit shorter, because we're targeting just literally half the body, and so they can get into the workout a little bit more quickly. So just to show you guys an example of what a lower body warm-up could look like, we'll get rid of this side completely for now, and then we'll get rid of the quadruped T-spine rotations. We'll keep the adductor mobilizations, and then we'll just do move this here because I want to do some half kneeling ankle rockers times 5. And then you guys might notice there wasn't any ankle mobility in the previous warm-up. And that's an important thing to note too, is you don't have to fit everything into every single warm-up. You kind of want to think about it almost like a triage kind of standpoint, like what's the worst areas to target this go around. Because if you try and fit everything into every warm-up, they're gonna be like 20-30 minutes long, and it's really just gonna be kind of pointless. So think of it from that standpoint. You don't have to necessarily put everything in. You're just trying to hit the biggest rocks that this person needs at any given moment. And again, it's gonna look different from person to person. And it's gonna look different from month to month as well. So looking at lower body, so we got the light stuff. So over here, let's do some glute wall marches with 3-second hold times 3 each. And then we had the Spider-Man, so those can stay in. But maybe we'll just leave out the twist, right? You don't necessarily have to, but let's do it for this purpose. We got the single leg deadlifts, walking SLDL times 10 yards. And then instead of bear crawls, we'll drop those and we'll just do those for a lateral march times 10 yards. So I mean, that's an example how you can change it. Don't take this as definitive, but just an example how you change a full body into a lower body only. So changing this back into an upper body only warm up. Let's just get rid of all this stuff that we just did here. And let's get rid of this for now. We'll get rid of that for now. So again, these can stay exactly the same here. And then we can just add in. So let's go here and we'll go to floor slides times 10. And then same thing, we got the band pull apart, so we can keep those in. Band pull aparts times 10. We can do some band face pulls. Face pulls times 10. Let's keep those bear crawls in. Times 10 yards. And then last example could be, we can do a Spider-Man's with the twist, but since we did Spider-Man's for a lower body, let's do an external rotation, ER, uppercut with mini bands, times 10. And as far as you don't really have any athletic kind of options here, so the athletic option would just be into that power movements, which would be the med ball work, which is something we'll get into in a later module. But again, this is just an example of an upper body warm-up compared to a lower body warm-up compared to a full body warm-up.